I was trying to come to you with
that
Ray
was who I
Lewis.
was trying to think of. I couldn't remember his name.
Cause we way too high for you. Tripping like we got too much on. But they got love before us. Cause we staying all night long. Yo, when you walk in the club, you better believe we know what's up. Got these girls a little trance. Throwing bands and then the dance.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it may be. Welcome back to another rendition, as Ryan would say if he were here, of the Bros and the Berg podcast. My name is Robbie Berg, so I'm joined by our executive producer, Connor Doyle. We are down a singular Doyle tonight. Ryan is busy on a work trip, so he's not able to make it for the podcast tonight, but we will miss him greatly, I'm sure. But ready for another episode, Connor. What we got first?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that Ryan's just not dedicated enough. He's just not fully invested, and it's kind of
You're telling
disappointing.
me he couldn't pull up Zencaster on the work laptop, bring
That's
the
what I'm saying.
microphone and the headset.
Yeah.
Like that, he could make that happen if he wanted to, but
Like,
for the
in
viewers,
front of
apparently he doesn't want to.
That's what I'm saying. In front of the boss, I mean, it shows that entrepreneurial spirit. You know, he starts talking about sports. Maybe that's like a bonding point for them, but he's just missed out on that opportunity now.
Work tip for all those kids out there. Your bosses love seeing you work another job. So always make sure that you tell them about all the things you do outside of work.
Yep. Every time. So, Rob, we are going to start with a little game that we played in the past. I think it'll be fun if we do a few rounds of this. We are going to try to name the same professional athlete. We've done this a number of times. I think this is always just a good kind of icebreaker to always get into the episode, and it's always a lot of fun. So, sir, if you wanna count us down at some point, I'm ready to go here.
You ready? Do you already have all your names picked out? Am I just gonna have to think on the fly? Okay, all right.
Well, no. Actually, I have one. I have my first one.
Oh, you got your first one. All right, good.
Yeah.
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Antonio Brown.
Kevin Durant. Both Twitter fiends.
All right. AB and Kevin Durant. I feel like Kevin Durant always comes up in these. Like every single time we do it, we somehow get to Kevin Durant. I don't know how.
Probably true. KD and Antonio Brown. Okay, maybe. I have somebody, but it's not great.
Okay, I have a name. I don't think it's great either. All right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. James
Russell
Harden.
Westbrook.
It was the other name I was gonna say. That was the other
Okay.
name I was gonna say. I thought about Russell Westbrook. I think.
Okay. I'm like between two guys. Okay. Yeah. I got it.
All right. I'm gonna go with one. I don't know if it's good. But I got
Come
one.
on, Rob. Lock in here. You gotta lock in here.
All right. I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Chris Paul.
Kawhi Leonard. Both play with Kawhi right now. Chris Paul was my other one.
They do, but we still got one more name. I forget that they're on the same team still, even though I should know that.
Totally fair.
Yes.
Totally fair.
All right, I got mine.
Wait, hold on. Kawhi Leonard and Chris Paul. Okay.
I don't want to give you too many hints because we're still early, but I have a name.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I'm where you are, but I'm Okay. Go.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Paul George. Yeah,
Yes,
there it is.
I know he's not there anymore, but I was like, that's like the other name with those three. That made sense.
I almost went Wembanyama just because Spurs. So I was like, I was tempted to. That would have
been tough. I think that would have been tough.
That would have been. Paul George and Wembanyama would have been a bit of a reach, to be honest.
That's a stretch.
Yeah. All right. Let's do another one. Let's see if we can. So how many rounds we get that in?
I will say 4 or 5. That wasn't bad.
Yeah, something like.
All right, I feel like we got to go. We both got to start outside the NBA this time. We got to stretch out. We said all. I guess I started outside the NBA, but we said all NBA players after that. So we got to start somewhere outside.
Okay.
All right, I got a name. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm good.
You count it down this time.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Joe Burrow.
Albert Pujols. Okay. It's not
okay.
It's not
the same.
It's not
sport.
great. It's not great.
That's
I tried to go
really
away from football because I did football the first time.
Yeah.
Not a great choice. All right.
That's really not
Joe
great.
Burrow and Albert Pujols.
Jeez.
I know.
Those
I
are
went for a
pretty
deep
different
cut there.
individuals.
I was trying to think of a baseball player, and that's the first one that came to mind.
So we got Burrow and Pujols. I'm gonna kind of just throw something out there because I have no connection of the two of these.
I have a thought process in mind. It's not great, but I have one. So I got a name.
Okay. Let's go.
All right.
3,
All right.
2, 1. Le'Veon Bell.
Peyton Manning. Okay, it's not. We're in the same sport now.
The same sport now.
We're in the same sport. I was trying to come between St. Louis and Cincinnati and me in the middle. That was kind of what I was doing. So you said Le'Veon Bell and Peyton Manning.
I got one.
Okay.
I got one. You got it.
I mean, I have one. I don't think it's good, but I have one. Okay.
You got it. Yeah,
right.
I know you're going to get this. All right. 3, 2, 1. Ben Roethlisberger.
Edgerrin James. Nope. We didn't. We didn't go to it. We both didn't come to each other. We both stayed where we were. We didn't move. That was the problem.
All right. Edgerrin James and Ben Roethlisberger. See, now this one's harder for me than the last one.
That's fair.
James,
that's fair.
Ben Roethlisberger. At least we're I guess somewhat in the same time period. Maybe I should have. Edgerrin James was earlier.
I should have come to you considering Edgerrin James and Peyton Manning playing together when you were less than 10 years old. I probably should have come a little bit more towards you. That's on me.
Yeah. I only know of him from NFL Street, to be totally honest. Or that was my first introduction to Edgerrin James. Was NFL Street.
That's fair.
So fair. Edgerrin James and Ben Roethlisberger.
I can't even think of anyone that played for the Colts. I got nothing.
This is going to be another kind of departure on my point. I think I'm going to go somewhere else here.
All right, I'm thinking.
I got one guy, but it's not much of a connection.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Chad Ochocinco.
Troy Polamalu. Okay, we're in the same division now. Yeah, I tried to come to you on the Steelers. I was like, all right, let me think of a Steeler here. And then, okay, both same time period.
Yeah.
Both same era of the NFL.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I got one. God. Not really a connection between them, but
Okay. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Ray Lewis?
Terrell Owens. I was trying to come receiver, and you see now we're coming too much to each other. Now we're overcorrecting. We're overcorrecting. All right.
Ray Lewis. Wait, sorry. Who'd you say? Oh, Terrell Owens, T.O.
Terrell Owens.
Ray Lewis and T.O.
All right. I'm coming to you. I'm just going to throw that out there because we've been on this one for a while.
I know. I'm trying to remember the guy's name that I'm trying to think of. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm going to count it down.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Ray Rice.
Ed Reed. I was trying to come to you with
That's who I was trying to think of. I couldn't remember his name. Oh, exactly who I was thinking of.
We're on the Ravens. We're there. We're together on the Ravens.
Dude, who was their quarterback in that time? I have somebody.
Ray Lewis and Ed Reed were there. They had a couple.
Okay, but the one. Come on,
yes.
We know the one. Yeah. All right, 3, 2, 1. Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there we go.
That's
Dude,
most clutch.
Go ahead.
Is it the most clutch playoff quarterback of all time, Joe Flacco?
Yeah, real.
You can't forget about him. Couldn't think of Ed Reed.
Remember Ed Reed's name. I was I knew he was the safety. I was like, who? There was somebody else on that Ravens defense. And I couldn't remember his name. Damn it.
All right, first one was great. Second one was very, very tough. That was a tough scene.
Second one was rough.
We got it back in the early 2000s NFL. I think we doomed ourselves from there, or I doomed us from there.
Exactly. Well, not exactly my strongest wheelhouse. I know most of those players from that time frame literally from NFL Street. I know most of those players. So we are going to move into some of our headlines here, getting into some of the sports. Robbie, I know we're both poor, and so we ordered the standard edition, which comes out. It's brutal. It's been brutal.
I'm regretting that decision right now.
Literally. But EA College Football 25, the pre-order deluxe edition, is out, and people have been playing it, and it's getting phenomenal reviews. People are saying it's one of the best college football games, legitimately ever. So I cannot wait to play it. Robbie and I have about a day of a wait.
Yeah, we got 3.5 hours left tonight, and then another 24 hours. It'll come out at midnight on Friday.
Brutal.
I've seen the gameplay is fantastic. I've seen videos of it. It looks super smooth, really well done. The only complaint I've seen is the logic behind the Dynasty Sims. is
Yeah.
abysmal. Like the FCS teams, like every season knock off like multiple top 10 teams because like,
Interesting.
so they were talking about like, I guess like almost every team in the game is rated from like 98 to 70. There's just not that wide of a range. And so like you have all these teams who are like 78, 80. Like if you're playing someone's 93, like yes, the 93 team is much better in real life, but like only that 13 percentage difference is like enough to like a lot of the like dynasty sim, the logic doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's the one point I've seen, like, to me, like I kind of think that's fun. Like, especially if you're like someone who's going to pick up like a G5 team and try to take them to the top. Like, it's funny all of a sudden get there and like there'll be these other G5 teams just hanging out. Like, I know people want a realistic sim and like they're definitely going to fix it to where it is more realistic, but I do think that it's funny and like I think it'll be fun for like a first playthrough to like have this just complete chaos in college football. It's like everyone keeps saying like Alabama and Georgia are both going 8-4 in the first year. So like imagine next year both Alabama and Georgia go 8-4. Like it's just not going to happen. So
I think I find that interesting. I mean, because like realistically, if you were actually ranking them, I mean, Bama would be, let's say 97, for example, and like one of those G5 teams would probably be like a 50 or a 40 compared to them, 40, realistically, which you probably shouldn't. Like that's not fun for a video game if someone is that
another
low.
thing is too is again like they couldn't put the G5 teams any lower because like you can't like obviously like if you're comparing like Kennesaw State to Alabama, like theoretically it'd be like 96 to probably like 55. But like they don't want to do that because like it's not fun and like it's kind of just a slap in the face to the like because there's actual players in it. Like you're literally saying y'all suck. Like you can't do that anymore. So I get it, but that's been the biggest complaint I've seen.
Yeah, I've heard that people are happy with how difficult it is. There's like there really is a home field advantage effect, and like the offense is a lot faster. But it's like people are throwing 5 interceptions a game, and the defense apparently is really hard to play. Too,
I was gonna say I've heard defense is like really difficult to play. That's what I've heard. Is like that's the tough part, but
apparently it's like quicker, it's a lot smoother, it's like kind of a fast game, which
it should be. That's how college football is, right? Compared to like the NFL, like you would play Madden and you feel slow, but that's kind of how the NFL is played. It's not as fast as college is. Like obviously the players are faster, but it's just played differently. And so I'm glad to see that they are playing at that fast pace they do in college.
Yeah, something that I've noticed just obviously being in the band, I really enjoy, and I knew that they obviously have all the fight songs and all that stuff, but I really love the bands playing during the drives and like every first down they play their lick or whatever, and I'm like that's so cool. Like they
Connor,
made
you have
it
to
so
talk about
immersive.
You were in this video game. Like you were physically.
That's what I'm saying.
If you play at Oklahoma State, you will play. Connor will be there in the video game for real. So
I'll
keep that
be in
mind.
the game.
You should tell everyone now. Like I'm in NCAA 25. You should put it on Twitter. Like I'm in the game or whatever. All the athletes are doing. Like just have a picture of the band. Like I'm in the game.
You know what's crazy though? I saw like one of the intro sequences of Oklahoma State, and you see the marching band for like a split second on the field or whatever. They're not the right uniforms. They're literally outdated uniform, which is crazy.
Alabama's weren't either. They're wearing black pants. And the $1 band has never worn black pants ever. Like I don't think in the history
weird.
of it. Okay. Hear me out. Can I make a post on Instagram on Friday, like when the game releases, and like put like I'm in the game, like of you, like the band, like just put like I'm in. Can I do that? Okay, excellent. I'll make that happen. That'd be good stuff.
I like that.
But
so Robbie and I both regretting our decision to not purchase it early, but only one more day, Rob.
All of my Xbox friends have been like running wild too, because like if you had EA Play too, you also got the extra like 12 hours too. So they all been playing since like Tuesday. I'm like,
dude, you know what a taunt was? Last night I was playing like 2K or something, and on my library it popped up. It's like EA College Football 25 downloading, and I was like, what the hell? I didn't buy the early version. And I went in and I was like, I literally waited for it to finish downloading. I was like, is this a mistake? Did it somehow give me it early? And it's just like it downloaded and I pressed on it. It's like got away. I was like, you suck. Why would you do that to me?
But it's nice you pre-download so that way like on midnight you can jump in and just play, which is cool. Like I literally want to check mine today. Like I was like sitting on the I swear it wasn't during work hours. It definitely was during work hours. But like I like turned it on. I was like, oh, let me make sure it downloaded, and like I clicked on it, and like it was like an hour and like 6 minutes or something. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I'm just not going to move off this couch until that timer is done. Like I just want to stay here and like wait. But
all I can say is that my entire lunch break Friday will be playing that game.
I unfortunately have a flight at 1 p.m. on Friday.
That's
so I am going to stay up tomorrow night till probably midnight, play till like 2 a.m. and
Yeah.
then get up and do my work
Solid.
and hop on a flight. But we'll get a couple hours
So-
in this week, and then it'll be the rest of my life for the next couple months.
Yep, 100%. We're gonna get like freakishly good at that game when we're gonna be elite.
Dude, I want them to
That's cool.
do crossplay online dynasties. We can online dynasty.
I know
They don't have
that
crossplay
would be
right
so
now.
good. Yeah, and I know some people are obviously frustrated because they didn't release it on PC. So maybe
PC.
that'll become okay. Another thing I wanted to mention that I'm interested in with the game real quick. Whenever the season's back in full swing, obviously Madden and 2K and all these sports games do the like live updates in terms of people's overalls and the team overalls and all that stuff. I'm really interested to see how they handle doing live updates.
I believe it was mentioned that they were going to do live updates. Like they were going to update depth charts and stuff. Like I think they are going to do that. So I'm very curious to see how they do, because I feel like it's weird with the college kids, and like keeping up with that many rosters is extremely difficult.
Yeah,
but they are going to do it. So we'll see.
We'll see. All right, we're going to move past that. We're going to get into some of the MLB stuff. They are on their All Star break currently. The All Star game happened last night. The Home Run Derby happened 2 days ago, or did it was trying to remember
2 nights. So it was going to be Monday night when we were going to do the podcast. So it was Monday night.
Yes,
was the Home Run Derby.
It was Monday night. Yes, that is correct. Congratulations to Teoscar Hernandez, who defeated Bobby Witt Jr. in the finals of the Home Run Derby, 14-13. So definitely a nail biter there.
It was like that. Like Bobby Witt needed like a foot, and he would have tied it and sent it to a swing off or whatever they call it. But yeah, I unfortunately did not watch any of it. I did catch the highlights later. But it looked very exciting, and I think Teoscar was like the highest odds. I think he had the lowest odds to win the Home Run Derby.
Oh wow!
Like he was way down there. So I feel like that's always worthwhile doing the Home Run Derbies. Like pick a long shot, because like other than like the couple years where Pete Alonso won a couple of times, like it's always been someone fairly random. Like I think even Vlad
is pretty random.
Guerrero Jr. last year was like not even like the top of like the odds list. So it's always worthwhile to think about.
That's like one of those skills in a baseball player where, for the most part, most baseball players, if you're just like kind of slow pitching to them, they're going to be able to hit a home run. So it's very much so more random than a lot of
I have a
stuff.
hot take about the Home Run Derby. I think it's less important who the player hitting the home runs is, as it is the person pitching to them. Because you see
hot take.
Because you see so many guys like do all from the first round, because they're like, guy throwing to him is like painting the outside of the zone. Like bro's throwing like slight curves, like break off the plate. And you're like, this is not for a Home Run Derby. I know like Acuna last year, like whoever I think is one of his like coaches from Venezuela came up and pitched for him. And like dude was like painting the edges like during the Home Run Derby. It's like, you're not going to win. Like you need someone throwing meatballs down the middle kind of deal. But
no,
but like you also can't throw it. You can't throw it too soft, because they still need the velocity coming in from the ball to be able to hit it far enough. So like there has to be like the right speed and everything. So I think that's always an interesting thing to watch. Like who has the best pitcher? That's the real key to the Home Run Derby. I was gonna say next year we need to like do research into who's pitching and like bet based off of that. Like do the research. Like have they thrown in a Home Run Derby before? Like what did their guys do? Kind of. I mean, obviously a lot of times it's like their high school coach, or like their dad or something. But sometimes it is like the hitting coach from the team. So if he's done it before, maybe you can like be like, oh, okay, he didn't do, like he was throwing bad pitches for him. We might be able to make that happen.
Maybe we will. So when I made that comment about like the Home Run Derby in terms of less of a skill gap, because I kind of compared in my head to like the 3-point contest, where that's very much different in the sense of like there are only certain players that have the ability to shoot like that. Where it's like the Home Run Derby is pretty widespread in terms of, if you're in the MLB, you should be able to hit a certain amount of home runs.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
So
I'm trying to think of like another comparison to Home Run Derby. Like almost everyone in the sport can do it. Like if you ask them to, like, I mean, maybe like a layup contest in the NBA, theoretically. I mean, it's not as easy as a layup. I'm not comparing hitting a home run to a layup. Like that's like the equivalency, I guess.
And then in terms of the All-Star game, the American League defeated the National League 5-3, with runs coming in 3 runs apiece coming in the 3rd inning, and then the American League scoring 2 runs in the 5th inning. I know that Shohei Ohtani hit a home run. Jarren Duran was named the All-Star Game MVP, and I know he also hit a home run. He's been kind of an up-and-comer this year, someone that a lot of people didn't expect to be as good and solid as he's been. So because I see Paul Skeens obviously starting for the National League, correct? National League?
Correct, he did, yep.
National League. Having a good game. So it was interesting, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it. I mean, the MLB is one of those All-Star games that can be played at a higher level, and like all the players will be playing the best, just because baseball's not the same kind of, I guess, injury risk as the NBA All-Star game, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you missed some of the pitchers just like if they pitched on like I think they finish games on Sunday pretty much. Like I think they play series through that Sunday and then they have
Yeah.
home run derby Monday, All Star game Tuesday. So like if they pitch Saturday or Sunday, the guys in the All Star game, they're not going to pitch on Tuesday because it's just way too quick of a turnaround, especially if they're a starter. But so you miss out on some of them, but otherwise, yeah, I mean they're basically full strength and going for it because your injury risk is rather low. Just as a note too, the American League has won 10 of the last 11 All-Star games. The NL did pull one out last year for the first time in a while, but is still 10 of the last 11 for the American League, which I thought was interesting because like the overall record, the National League has it, which I don't think I realized. Or sorry, no, the American League has it, but it's 48 and 44, and it's just been so lopsided lately. You like forget that at one point the National League did kind of run it. So that was an interesting thing. I didn't know who Jared Duran was. I had to go look it up when I saw the podcast notes. So I'm an absolute casual, to be honest.
Absolutely.
But congrats to him. Congrats to him. That's always very exciting, especially your first All-Star game. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, super. And then one last headline here for the MLB coming from the commissioner himself. He had another headline that we could talk about. But it's a little weird, and we've kind of made comments on it before. But getting into this one specifically, Major League Baseball hopes to test robot umpires as part of a challenge system during spring training next year, making an automatic ball strike component possible as early as 2026. But MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred still seems far from committing to that date, saying Tuesday that the league has quote-unquote technical issues surrounding the definition of the strike zone that need to be ironed out before it is even tested by Major League players.
Yeah, I think it's a big pull to get that going, and like, people are going to complain up and down about it for the first 2 years of like, that's part of baseball. Like you got to be, you got to just deal with it. And then they'll get used to it. And like everyone will appreciate like it is consistent. You don't have Angel Hernandez behind the plate, like just missing every single call to come through. But I mean, I don't think it's going to be 2026. I bet it's going to be like 2028, 2030. Like I'd be surprised if it's anytime soon. But I'm excited to see what it does. I mean, I think it makes sense. And obviously you'll still have umpires. They still make the calls on the field, out versus safe, which I don't think you could ever, automate. I don't know if there's a way to do that. I'm sure that there is, but it's probably extremely expensive and not very accurate. So have umpires, they'll still make calls. It'll make people mad. So we'll still have that to get angry about. But I think it's a good move for baseball eventually.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of knew that it was going to be headed that way anyways, because in the minor leagues they were testing out that robot where basically if the umpire would make a call and the batter had like an ability to challenge it once a game or something like that, and then they were testing that in the minor leagues, and I think it got pretty good reviews. But
yeah, my only concern is just, I mean, I guess it'll be a fast review, but like they've already done so much work to speed up baseball. Like that's been the biggest thing they've done in the last year, and it's been great. I think everyone has really appreciated the pitch count and cutting down on the number of times you can go visit. I think those have been good changes. But I worry like if you can challenge once per game, you're looking at 18 challenges, and like obviously it should be instantaneous, but stuff to like call it down and say, yeah, it's a strike, yeah, it's a ball, whatever. Like I feel like it would slow it down a little bit and do away with the progress that's been made for the pace of the game, which has been really important for baseball.
It could be something that you could probably put up like digitally, like on a board or something that would be like what it actually was. I mean, if it's so that doesn't have to be the call or anything.
But it's, I mean, they probably do it like tennis. Like, I know in tennis they have challenges and like they like kind of stop for a second and they like show it up on the screen of like where the ball is moving and where it landed, and then it says out versus in. Like I'm guessing it'd be something like that, but that's still like 18 times a game. That's going to make the game feel slow.
I hear you. The other thing that I didn't write down, but basically it was talking about like gambling in the MLB and like the issues with certain players, and I'm like, his whole thing was so weird. I mean, and he's obviously, we don't have the best feelings toward him as a commissioner, but the whole thing with like, MLB is sponsored by DraftKings. Oh no, our players got in trouble for gambling.
Listen, as long as they're not gambling on themselves or even in the league they play in, I really don't care. Like, they should not be gambling on their own games. That's obvious. Like, probably shouldn't be gambling on any games in the league they play in. Like, outside of that, like, it doesn't matter. Like, the leagues are making so much money off of DraftKings and FanDuel and all of these things. I think it's silly that the players, like, have these rules around them kind of deal. Also, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, but...
Moving on here, we are going to get into a few NFL headlines. After an offseason of contract negotiations that have yet to yield a lucrative extension, San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk has officially requested a trade. On Tuesday, apparently other teams that have reached out to the 49ers have been told that they don't have any intention of trading him. I've seen a lot of just like memes about this. It's like, it's crazy that the third best receiver on your team is acting like
demanding
a
trade.
Yeah, it's just funny stuff. But I mean, he's obviously very talented. He's obviously very good at what he does. So I would assume from this news that in their game plan, they're not utilizing him as much as he believes he should be utilized. So that's probably part, or he's just not getting paid what he wants to is obviously a big part of it, as mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and I think he stays put. Like, I'd be very surprised if anyone offered. Looks like he's the third best receiver on their team, but he is a very good receiver, and the 49ers are going to be expecting probably a first round pick, if not at least a second. And I don't know that many teams are willing to pay that amount. I do have the odds up for his top landing spots outside. The 49ers are favorites to retain him currently. Yeah. But the teams after them, the Steelers, Jags, Colts, and Commanders are the top four behind that.
Colts, Commanders. Interesting.
The Chargers are right there as well. They're a 9-1. Chargers would make sense.
That would be a good pickup for the Chargers.
I saw there's some report from I don't think anyone major on Twitter. I think he's a beat reporter for someone, but they're throwing out that they're looking at a trade to send Ayuk to the Raiders, so you get a long-term deal there, and send Devontae Adams to the 49ers because they'd still have that good receiver, and he'd be off of contract after this year. So they free up a little bit of money that way because they just don't want to pay Ayuk because they don't have the money for it. I was like, it makes sense. I just think I don't think it makes a lot of sense really for either team necessarily. Like, I think if you're the 49ers, you'd want the Raiders to give you something back for Ayuk, like a pick or something, just so you can stay younger. Yeah. But if you're the Raiders, like, no, Devontae Adams is a lot better than Brandon Ayuk. Like, that's not an even trade kind of deal. So I don't know how they'd pull it off, but
I don't know if you've seen anything, I'm not sure if the series just came out or something. That might be why I'm saying clips, but it's one of the Hard Knock series, or it's like Receiver on Netflix or something like that. And there've been clips about like Devontae Adams on the sideline, like cussing out Jimmy Garoppolo basically for missing through it.
If I was Devontae Adams, I'd be pissed too. Their quarterbacks were so bad last year. You'd watch games. Devontae Adams is just open all game.
He's so open,
just not getting anything.
It's crazy. And then he got in. This actually kind of put a bad taste in my mouth about Devontae Adams. He got interviewed by somebody, and he was talking about how the Chargers social media team, they posted a picture of like Devontae Adams next to an edited Pop-Tart box, and it was like garbage was the flavor of the Pop-Tart. And so it was pretty. It's just like a funny kind of thing. And Devontae Adams.
They did that for their schedule review. They put every team at their
that's right.
Flavor. That's what it was.
Yeah. And then Devontae Adams was like, their trash ass social media team called me garbage. Like, look at the history, whatever. And I was like, relax. Like, it's not that deep.
It's a joke. Some intern wrote that and thought they were hilarious, and it is hilarious. And like, just let it be. Keep in mind, this is also the guy that like pushed a camera guy out of the way. Yeah, so clearly, not a lot of good feelings towards the media, which to each their own.
Yeah, of course. So staying with the NFL, we're going to talk about some Super Bowl odds, Robbie. We have some Super Bowl odds as players are reporting back to camp. There's been a little movement since obviously the end of the last season, but Robbie, I want to start right at the bottom of this list because we have the Carolina Panthers at plus 30,000. Do you think that's a good bet to put $10 on?
I think that's a little disrespectful. I do. I think that's a little disrespectful. I think we should be like 27th or 28th. That's just me. Okay. That's the homer take. But I think we can be better than the Patriots this year. No Bill Belichick bringing in a rookie. True. I think we can be better. I'm looking at the other teams above the list. I think the Commanders are still going to fucking blow. I don't know why, like, all of a sudden, like, a lot of people are talking about the Commanders. Like, I still don't think they're going to be that good.
Quarterback, I guess people think he's going to be pretty decent.
Yeah,
it's a massive jump from that bot. Like, from so the Panthers are at 30,000, the New England Patriots are at 25,000, and the Broncos are at 18,000. That's a massive jump.
I mean, I probably will put money on that. Let's be realistic. I probably will put money on that because like tend to win $3,000 and your team wins the Super Bowl too. I feel like that's a no-brainer, right? I mean, it's not going to happen. They're not going to make the playoffs probably, but like we won 5 or 6 games this year, I'm going to be ecstatic.
Going at the top of the list to talk about some of the favorites. So currently the 2 betting favorites that are tied at the top, the San Francisco 49ers and the defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Just below them, the Baltimore Ravens at plus 950, the Detroit Lions just below them at plus 1300, and then tied just below them are the Cincinnati Bengals and the Philadelphia Eagles. Any surprises there to you, Rob? I think that's about what we expected. Maybe the Bengals a little high? Question mark.
Yeah, Also, how do you feel about the Cowboys being tied with the Texans? That feels a little off to me.
It feels weird, but like the Texans are going to be good. Like I'm
That is
scared
true.
of the
That is
Texans
true.
this year. They have their person because they were good last year, and they just added guys to their personnel on both sides of the
It's true.
ball that are better.
They got Stephon Diggs and Joe Mixon on offense. On an offense
Joe
that was already
Mixon.
great last year. Yeah.
They got some really good defensive pieces. I think they got an end that's really and a corner that are both pretty solid. And I mean, the biggest thing, and everybody knows it. Everybody's talking. It's like, is CJ Stroud going to do what he did last year? Is he going to go into that sophomore slump? It really revolves around Stroud, how that team is.
I saw like ESPN was talking about like, is Stroud already a top 5 quarterback? I'm like, that's silly. Like, he's had one really good year, and like, absolutely, he's a great quarterback. Like, do I think he can become a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? Absolutely. Like, 100%. I just don't think you can put him there after one rookie year. No. And now teams have game film on him. Like, talk about sophomore slump. It happens because they now know how he plays. You give defensive coordinators a whole offseason to look at a guy's tape. Like, they'll find a way to get after him unless he's like Tom Brady. So,
yeah, you could throw like top 10 at me and I'd listen to you, but top 5's a little early for that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at some of the other ones. I'm not necessarily seeing. Okay, this one's a little interesting to me. The Dolphins and the Falcons have tied Super Bowl odds, which is like, that makes no sense to me.
I was also just looking at like a value pick in the middle there, and like the Jets are just above them at plus 2,000. Like, obviously we're not the biggest Aaron Rodgers guys, but like if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, he is still a top 5 quarterback. I think. We haven't seen him healthy in a while.
We haven't seen him.
You have to think you haven't seen him healthy in a while. But I mean, you have to think like if the Jets stay healthy and like that team grows around Aaron Rodgers, like I think that's a decent bet there at plus 2,000.
Yeah, going back to the Falcons Dolphins thing, like I know you add Kirk, but he makes you that much better. To like, you still have the same guys on both sides of the ball. I'm just
their defense
confuses
is still
me.
Their front seven's still going to be like at best. Like I don't know.
Yeah. It's a very interesting one. So not really a surprise at any of the rest of the spots. The Chargers, I mean, I kind of like the Chargers, but I just kind of feel bad for the situation that Herbert's in. Like, obviously Keenan Allen left this past season, so that sucks for them. Where are the Bears? Sorry, I'm missing so actually, funny enough, the Bears and the Chargers are tied on the odds, along with the Browns plus 4,000. So yeah, I mean, not a ton of shockers. I think the Falcons are probably a bit too high. I would say that the Bengals might be a slightly bit too high. But and to Robbie's point, maybe the Panthers are being a little disrespected.
Yeah, I think it just goes to the fact that we know like the NFL is a quarterback league, and like to win the Super Bowl, you have to have the best quarterback in that playoffs. It might not be the best quarterback for the whole year. Like we just talked about Joe Flacco, or like that playoffs that the Ravens went and won the Super Bowl. Joe Flacco was far and away the best quarterback in that entire playoff run. Same with Eli Manning. Like, you just have to have a quarterback that can get hot and win games to win a Super Bowl. And like, that's probably why Joe Burrow's up there, because he can absolutely do that.
100%.
Can anyone in the AFC give Patrick Mahomes trouble? Can anyone actually break through the ginormous barrier to the Super Bowl that is Patrick Mahomes?
No one's proved it to me yet.
I mean, I guess Burrow did. I mean, Burrow did do it. But
yeah. That one year.
I don't know. I know.
But then they lost. Then they lost. Like, if Patrick Mahomes is in the Super Bowl, like, he's probably gonna win the Super Bowl. I mean, let's just look at the stats. Look at what he's done.
It's the Tom Brady thing, right? Like, if Tom Brady makes it there, he's probably going to win the Super Bowl.
Probably winning. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, and the fact that he's like Mahomes has already inserted himself into that conversation is just like nuts. It's crazy.
I don't think it's absurd to say that Patrick Mahomes is already a top 5 quarterback of all time. Like, I don't hate that take.
I think he's top 3. Like, I think he's top 3.
And I'm not sure that he's 3. To be like,
I think he might be 2.
He's not at Brady's level yet. He's got to win some more to get to Brady's level. I mean, he's a more talented quarterback than Tom Brady is. This is the whole Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady debate that was going on forever. Patrick Mahomes is better at a lot of the physical things playing quarterback than Tom Brady ever was. Tom Brady might be a better game manager, might be a little bit faster on his reads, but in terms of playing the quarterback position physically, Patrick Mahomes is much better.
Yeah, he's like a significant. I think Mahomes is easily the most talented quarterback of all time. I know a lot of people say Rodgers. I'm just like,
he's who Rodgers was supposed to be. Mahomes is who Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be. Yes, he is. That is for sure. Yeah. Rodgers was athletic like earlier in his career. He could scramble around and do stuff. Like, I think about that Hail Mary where he like rolled out, like ran around like threw
Yeah,
it in
yeah, yeah.
Detroit. Like he could move, but not like Mahomes can. Like he was athletic at one point before he kept getting injured.
Yeah. All right. Robbie, we are going to move past that. We're going to get into a little draft here that you came up with. So if you want
Yep.
to explain that to the people, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're going to do a draft of pets, but you have to choose animals that are not stereotypical pets. And that can be any type of animal that you would like, but it just can't be, I can't go buy it in PetSmart, is I think what I'm going to put the rule on as. Because PetSmart has a lot of different pets in there. I've been in there a lot recently. They have a lot of options, but they cannot be in PetSmart.
Cannot be in PetSmart. Can it be? Can they be illegal in the United States?
I was going to say we're gonna ignore the ethical question of like endangered species. Like we're gonna assume that like you are gonna like take in this animal and treat it the best it possibly could, and if it needs to reproduce as an endangered species, you're going to allow that to happen. That's how we're gonna phrase that. We're gonna have any ethics things going on here.
Damn it, they're in PetSmart. There's a few. Dude, PetSmart is loaded. Holy crap. They've got tons of animals that I wouldn't even like think of. That's crazy. If you want to go first, by all means.
Pick a number 1 or 2.
2.
All right, it's 1. I go first.
Yay.
I randomly generate one. All right. This first pick it's easy for me. And I had to bring up the endangered species thing specifically for this animal. But if I was going to have a pet, it was going to hang out with me all the time, I would want a panda. Like, just think about having a panda you can just like chill with all day. Like, that would be sick.
It would be sick.
That'd be pretty awesome. Like, and like they just kind of chill most of the time. Like, they'd probably come cuddle with you, kind of deal. Like,
yeah, maybe. Are we taking their like temperaments into account?
For
like
sure.
How aggressive they are and stuff. Like,
like a tiger. Like, you have to be concerned that the tiger could potentially bite your face off. Like, that definitely has to be a consideration in this.
Damn, this is tough. So you went with panda. Aren't pandas like kind of can't they be kind of aggressive?
I think somewhat, but like I'm gonna feed it bamboo all day and it's gonna be all right.
I vibe with that. Okay, actually, I'm gonna go along those lines just because I'm having a little trouble coming up with something. I'm gonna go along those lines, and I think it's slow enough to where if something became a problem, I could get away from it. I'm gonna go with a koala bear because I think that I could get away if something happened.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go koala bear there.
You got another one.
I got another one. I'm seeing a list that has skunks. Why would you want a skunk?
What?
That's not okay. That sounds that sounds terrible. Good Lord. Okay. I'm gonna go because I've seen enough of them trained to where I think that it would be okay, and I just think they're cool. I would go with some sort of fox. I've seen enough of them be trained to where I think I would put out the money to get a really trained fox before,
or bring someone in to train the fox for you, like do obedience classes with the fox kind of deal. Yeah. I was reading a similar thing. They're talking about like a fox, like a cross between a cat and a dog. Like they're like kind of like they have that dog energy, but like they also will just kind of like curl up and like hang at the same time. So I do like that pick.
I'm gonna go with fox.
My next one's gonna be just because I need it for a bit. And I'm gonna dress it up as a very popular animated character like all of the time, and he's just gonna hang out. It's gonna be a platypus, Connor. Like I need a platypus to turn into Perry the Platypus. Like I need that in my life for sure. And like also I think about like in Avatar: The Last Airbender, they have the platypus bears, and like those things are adorable. And like I would just like whenever I think about platypus, I just think of that, and I just assume they'd all be like the platypus bears. So I think that'd be my next one.
Damn it, that's the best pick. That was a great.
I think that was a good. I think that was a good second round value there.
Yeah.
Shoot, I had
100%. 100%. Are we going 3 deep here? Are we going 5 deep? What are we going?
We can go 5. You think we can go 5 deep?
Yeah, I think so. I can get enough.
I'm gonna go with another cute and cuddly guy. People like them. I don't know if you've ever seen them in the zoo, but they seem to be very friendly whenever I see them in zoos. Whenever they get fed in a zoo, they just come to the trainer, just kind of like waddle up to them and hang out. I'm gonna go with a penguin, Connor. I'm gonna have a penguin. But I feel like I'd have to move to colder climate for the penguin. But like I think I would be willing to do that for the penguin. Yeah. Like I think I'd be willing to like dish that out.
Penguin was 100% on my list, but I was like, I would never subject a penguin to Texas heat
for sure.
or Oklahoma heat. I would never do that to a penguin. But no, that's a good pick. So, damn it, penguin was also in mine. I'm seeing a lot of. We'll talk about it after, but there are some ones that people are mentioning that are just like weird. I just don't understand some of these. Damn. Okay, so we have now. I'm trying to think if I can think of any that are in like shows or something that are kind of not normal. Sorry, I saw someone say men. that was kind of funny. Oh, that's a cool one actually. Okay, I'm gonna see if you're gonna let this slide, just because I just think it'd be cool to have it out. I probably wouldn't interact with it that much because it's scary. But it's kind of alive. Are you gonna give me a Venus flytrap?
It's alive. I'll give it to you.
It's like a plant pet.
You see it in a zoo. You do see Venus flytraps in zoos, so I'm allowed to slide just for that.
It's a bit of a slippery pick, but I think that we'll let it slide just for because this draft is kind of difficult.
More than I thought it would be.
Yeah, 100%. I'm trying to. So I have this next pick as well, and let's see where am I going to get into here. There's a few that I'm thinking of. Some people aren't going to say no to this, but they are cute, and I have read before that if they are not in danger, they do not hurt you, or they will not activate their defense mechanism. And I'm phrasing this, vaguely to not give away what it is, but I'm going to go with a hedgehog. Okay. So hedgehogs obviously have the spikes and stuff, but apparently it's only as a defense mechanism that they'll ever shoot it out or anything like that. Okay. But they are very cute, and
people have them as pets. I think. I do think people have hedgehogs as pets. It's a thing. But like obviously you cannot get a PetSmart. I don't think. I've never seen a hedgehog in PetSmart.
I don't believe so. But I from what I understand, they also have a pretty relaxed temperament if they're comfortable and stuff. So I just won't touch it. I'll just stay away from it.
Let it do its thing, just like the Venus flytrap. Let's do its thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
My next one, or my next two, are very similar to your thoughts with the koala. Like, they're probably extremely dangerous, but I think that they're very slow, and I could probably get away were to upset them or the other. Mm-hmm. My first one's a little bit of a homer pick, but I've always said Nick Saban riding out onto Bryant-Denny Field on top of an elephant would be so sick.
Jeez.
Just imagine having an elephant just hanging out. Like you could just have like pool parties and stuff. It can just like shoot water out of the people, like hang out, like you can just be there. Like you can have
thing.
I'm gonna have a really big backyard, man. I'll go live out in the country somewhere and put in a pool. I'm gonna go elephant next. And my last one is an animal that not a lot of people know is like very dangerous. But if you ever seen Zootopia, you know that they're not very fast. And they're adorable. I'm going to go with a sloth. Like 100%, this thing, if it gets to me, can rip my face out. Like I know this, but like he's just going to hang. Like he's going to have his own area. He's just going to hang there, and I'm just going to watch him like do his thing, which is sleep most of the time.
Robbie, elephants can run 20 miles an hour.
Bro, I'm fast. Connor, he's not going to get upset. He might get a little upset the first time that we hang out, but like, he'll get used to me. They're supposed to be very friendly to like once you get to know them. So like I'm gonna be like similar to you. I'm gonna get him well trained. He's gonna get to know me. We're gonna be cool. We're gonna chill.
Dude, they can swim at 5 miles an hour. That's like crazy.
That's impressive.
Why are they so fast?
He's not getting in the pool. The pool's not gonna be big enough for him to get into.
He's just gonna put water into it.
Yeah, we'll make sure he has enough water to stay cool. But like, he's not getting. That's can't do that.
All right, then I'm also going to go with something that typically they are regarded as very dangerous, and you're not supposed to approach them, but they look super cool, and I think it'd be kind of a vibe. I'm going to go with a polar bear. I really like how they look. Again, I'd have to move somewhere a lot colder, and apparently polar bears are pretty dangerous, but
my favorite animal is a grizzly bear, and like I would have picked that except for the fact I know that thing would just simply murder me at some point. Like I just couldn't do it. So that would have been my honorable mention. Would have been a grizzly bear.
What bear is the most dangerers? Let's see what we got. Yeah, grizzly bears responsible for the most human deaths. Grizzly bears prefer to avoid human settlements.
That's why I did not pick them.
Actually,
it's because there's not
right there.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure
there's not as many.
They're very aggressive. Yeah, people don't live where polar bears live.
Correct.
Polar bears live and very isolated.
Yeah, 100%. Awesome. So we will move into our next thing. Good draft, Rob. I think
that was a
we had some
solid
good
draft.
picks.
I think that was pretty good.
It's pretty good. A few NBA things real quick. Jalen Brunson has agreed on a 4-year, $156.5 million extension, $113 million less guaranteed than he's eligible to receive in 1 year. So taking a massive pay cut just for the benefit of the team and for them to be able to get more players.
Bro took the Nova Knicks pay cut. They all are just like so
literally
excited to play together. I don't think they really care.
That's awesome.
Which I respect and I get it. It's just it is wild.
Just making him. I mean, it's funny because like the Knicks have always had this kind of reputation. Just any New York team kind of has this reputation of a lot of people don't like them. They're they're the big leaguers or whatever. And Jalen Brunson is trying his hardest to make the Knicks like the most likable team in the NBA.
The Knicks have also just been bad for so long that like you can't really hate them. And they've tried to go out and make big signings and just hasn't worked out. No one's wanted to come. Yep. I think a lot of it has to do with Dolan being the owner. I mean, I think they've fallen into a great spot here with the Nova Knicks.
100%.
I think OG is going to fit in really nicely with the rest of the Nova Knicks and keep doing his thing. They have a good core. I still don't know if it's good enough to get out of the East, but I think it's a really you're competing for these conference finals every year, and I think you have an outside shot of making it further. I think at least because they also didn't have Julius Randle this year. True. If you'd been that playoff run, I think things might have gone differently.
I kind of equate, and this is very much just to reference it, and I'm not like a huge fan, but I'm kind of a fair weather Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm from the Dallas area, but it seems to me that a lot of the time that outside of just Cowboys fans, a lot of people don't like the Philadelphia Eagles either. But I would kind of equate that as well because the Philadelphia Eagles with Jason Kelce, Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, are super likable people. And so it's kind of like turning the image of the franchise into something else.
Almost feel like the Eagles get hate for their fans more than they ever have for their team.
Yeah.
I don't think the Eagles have ever had an unlikable team. I can think about that Super Bowl team that went on that run. And,
Foles
I mean, they're very likable. I think it's just Eagles fans, Philly fans already have a bad rap, and Eagles fans are by far the worst Philly fans.
Moving to this next thing. So this was something that I found out about yesterday. Apparently, Dallas Mavericks guard Kyrie Irving underwent surgery to repair a broken left hand, which he suffered in while training earlier this month. That sucks. That's kind of brutal. So hopefully he's able to make a full recovery. We wish him the best in surgery and recovery. But obviously a huge piece for the Mavericks to needs to return.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't even see this pop up. I didn't even see the headline, but hopefully he recovers. And it's one of those things. It's probably kind of okay, season's over. You're not playing on Team USA. Let's get you 100% kind of deal. I hope so. I'm sure he'll be back. And
they kept it super quiet. That's what they kept the injury super quiet, which was interesting.
Well, I feel like Kyrie is since he's gotten the Mavs is very much so tried to fly under the radar. I think he's got to this point in his career now, where he just wants to go hoop, and he did that in the playoffs. So
100%, except for the finals, but
the Boston curse. It's because he stepped on Lucky the Leprechaun, man. That's why he cursed himself.
I agree. We have our last headline here before we get into a little bracket. This is just something I want to discuss, Rob, because I find this really interesting. So Angel City FC. I'm going to restart. Angel City FC is now the most valuable women's sports team in the world, following an agreement by Willow Bay and Bob Iger to purchase a controlling stake in the National Women's Soccer League franchise at a $250 million valuation. Iger is the CEO of Disney, and Bay is the dean of USC's journalism school, and they are married. The Walt Disney Company is the majority owner of ESPN, and obviously, as I mentioned earlier, Iger is the CEO of Disney. I'm interested to... Is this a conflict of interest? Because he owns a team that's going to be broadcast on his network.
So this is really funny. So I was thinking about something today. I was stewing about the Hornets, and this will make sense why this relates to the Hornets. You do. As I do. I was driving to a work lunch and was stewing about the Hornets. And so I was thinking back, and I remembered this was back when they were the Bobcats and the Hornets were actually in New Orleans. I don't know if you remember this. The NBA actually owned the New Orleans Hornets for a short period of time. The NBA was the controlling interest. When David Stern was the commissioner, they actually physically owned the franchise for a few years. This also happens to be the time that Anthony Davis was coming out of college, known to be by far the number one overall pick, and obviously has shown he's a fantastic basketball player. And the New Orleans team, owned by the NBA, all of a sudden had the number one pick after not really being close to the top of the odds in the lottery.
Yeah, it's a little sus.
So to
More than a
answer
little
your
sus.
question, absolutely there'll be a conflict of interest. But I mean, I think the positive part of that is it brings more eyes to the National Women's Soccer League, which
Yeah.
is a great thing because I mean, our women's soccer is fantastic. And I
Mm.
think, they get a lot of love during the Olympics and a lot of love during the Women's World Cup. I think it'll be a good thing to get people back into the game because obviously they haven't done as well recently, but get people
Yeah, of
back into it and kind of the U.S. as a whole needs to work on our soccer program. I think we know that.
course.
We see our men's national team disappoint us year after year. Um,
Damn.
but
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good thing. And like, yes, they will absolutely get shown on ESPN way more now. But
Yeah, I just find that to be very
um,
interesting.
did,
I want to hear updates on that as the year goes along.
I don't know. Did you guys? I think this was after last week's podcast that Greg Berhalter got let go as the men's national team coach again.
I did not see that. No.
So I don't know if you remember this whole saga. So he
Oh
got fired.
yeah,
And then
vaguely,
they did a coaching search and they brought him back because that makes sense.
That's right. Yeah.
And so after the team bowed out in the Copa America group stage, at a disappointing result, lost to Panama because they had 10 men. Actually, still could have won that game with 10 men, lost. They have fired him again, or looking for a new coach. So hopefully, obviously, the men's national team will automatically qualify for the World Cup in 2026. It's being hosted in the United States. Hopefully, they can turn around because this is the best generation of U.S. soccer players we've ever had, and we still can't win anything. So hopefully, they'll get it ironed out. But
was he the coach of the last World Cup?
I think he got let go shortly after that. There's the whole thing with Gio Reyna that he was benching Gio Reyna for personal reasons or something like that. And there's this whole falling out with him and the Reyna family.
Yeah,
and
I do
this whole
remember
weird
this.
thing going on. So yeah, he was a one for the World Cup last year. So
yes,
he's
so
gone.
My
Bad
roommate,
man gone.
My roommate Gabe has an issue with him because if you remember, I don't know if you remember his clothing choice in the World Cup, but he tends to wear a white T-shirt whenever he coaches, and white T-shirt and joggers or sweatpants. And then the other coach across was in a full dripped out designer suit or whatever. And Gabe was just really upset at the fact that he was just in a white T-shirt. He was like, "That's gross." That's just.
Have you ever watched all of the Premier League coaches are looking nice? They're all out there in suits, looking for. They look like NBA coaches do. They look nice, well dressed. You're commanding a team. That's fair. You should look like the part. I think.
I agree. The white T-shirt is just like a white T-shirt. Really, you couldn't even put on a quarter zip. It's a plain white T-shirt.
Training. It looks like you were warming up with them and then decided to be the coach. There's no power there.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. Well, we are going to get into a bracket with the Summer Olympics coming up. We thought it would be a fun idea to do a bit of a Summer Olympics bracket, but we're not going to do what our favorite one is because we have in the past done a tier list on. I think it was the Summer Olympics.
It was our
basically.
Yeah, because Tokyo was 2 years ago, which I forgot about. But.
Yes, yeah, that's true. But we are going to do a bracket based on the Olympic sport that we think we would be the best at, I guess is kind of how we're going to phrase this.
Yeah. And I think we're going to put out a disclaimer too that we probably have the two more unathletic members of the podcast currently present. So keep that in mind as we go through the bracket.
You think I'm less athletic than Ryan?
I don't know. I could be wrong. I feel like Ryan's he's just decent at every sport. He just kind of goes out and I think he was good at baseball. But he's just he picks it up and he's fine. He just does it.
He's definitely strong. Easily strong. He's freakishly strong. He's always been freakishly strong.
Yeah.
But if I was to do skill wise,
okay,
I would lean me, and I think he would probably say the same thing. But yeah, if it's it kind of depends. It depends on what you're assessing, I guess.
All right, I guess I'd say I'm the most unathletic member of the pod.
Yeah,
unless we're on the golf course, and then it's all.
Yeah. Oh no, we're getting. Yeah, it's terrible. Okay, so Robbie, we have 32 seeds here because it would not let me go above 32. But I kind of consolidated certain things, and I think we have a pretty comprehensive list. It's not every single thing, but for the most part. So we have archery and water polo. What do we think would be the best at between the two?
Connor, there's just no way I'm getting good at water polo. I'm not I can swim. I'm not gonna drown. There's just no way I'm swimming and dude, that is so much swimming. That's a lot of swimming.
But I used to be a swimmer. Dude, I would have been okay at water polo.
I was gonna say, did you guys play water polo at swim practice? I know our swim team always that was one of their kind of fun days. We're gonna play water polo for swim practice today kind of deal. I said, me personally, I definitely would end up being better at archery than I ever could be at water polo.
I think that's fair. I think archery probably it's less physically intensive. It's more of kind of a mental and like a repetitive thing.
It's all about like I feel like how shaky you are too. Like you have to like have
Yeah.
like surgeon's hands where you're very
See,
steady and
that's part of my issue. I have like
okay.
shaky hands.
Yeah.
So that's kind of part of my issue. But I think archery for the most part is probably easier. I'd probably lean archery.
Yeah.
Next we have boxing and table tennis.
This is tough. And like I don't think it
Is it?
should be that tough. Like,
I would agree.
Like those Chinese table tennis players, dude. That's no joke. Like I could never do that.
It's going so fast. The boxing is like anybody can technically do boxing, but like to be good at boxing is so hard. And so it's just
I think it comes down to can you take a punch better or can you react faster?
Like I would agrry. Endurance
like
versus
because we could never do this on an Olympic level. Obviously, none of these sports we could.
No.
Like funny enough, I might lean boxing.
I'm gonna go with you because I'm gonna go with you. So
the table tennis is so impressive. Boxing is
crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, table tennis is also one of those things because boxing I've seen people pick up later where it's like table tennis is like the elite people have been playing table tennis since they were really young.
And
so
also
I think that's part
boxing is only amateurs, right? I don't think they let professional boxers box.
That's a good question. I actually don't know.
I think it is. I could be completely wrong.
I was not aware of that rule. Maybe that is a thing. That's interesting. Amateur boxing.
Okay, so a rule was passed before the 2016 games that allowed professional boxers to compete in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So that used to be a rule, but now you can't actually be in the Olympics.
Interesting. All right, our next matchup is flag football versus sport climbing.
I've never been able to climb anything in my life, to be completely honest with you.
But like dude, it's like NFL players playing flag football. Like we're not even going to be close. It's got to be climbing. Like we can't say flag football.
Yeah, it's fair. I agree with you. Yeah. If it was like average Joe's playing flag football, we'd have a better chance. But we're not guarding Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I mean, but to your point, like obviously we could do none of these. Like we wouldn't even be close to any of these. Right. But I get like in terms of just like our physical capabilities, we're 5'10". Like we're not gonna.
I'm gonna get mossed over and over again. It's gonna be awful.
100%. Next we have swimming versus volleyball.
I feel like you're gonna go swimming. Do you think like if you'd really kept with swimming, like you could be a decent swimmer? Like I've seen an Olympic level boy. Like,
yeah, I do think that I could have been pretty decent at swimming if I had kept with it, specifically butterfly.
Like I feel like swimming is one of those things. Like obviously there is the natural ability to it. But like if you just swim a lot, like you just keep at it, like you can become a very good swimmer. Like the Olympic athletes on another level, but like you can be another very good swimmer if you spend a lot of time in the water.
I'll also say my vert is ass. I can't jump, so volleyball doesn't bode
not
super
gonna
well
work
for
out.
me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so we'll go swimming here. Next we have rowing and diving. Dude, diving's crazy.
Rowing,
diving's nuts. Yeah,
it's
got to be
great shape to row, but like it.
Yeah,
I can't do diving. I think like I don't even really get dizzy. But like just watching them do diving, I think I would get dizzy. Like I don't think
doing all those tricks from that height, I would poop my pants.
Yeah, literally.
I could not do it.
Why is the water brown now? What's going on
here? Yeah. Next we have cycling versus field hockey.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with field hockey's game, to be honest. I'm really not at all.
I agree.
What was the other one?
Cycling.
Man. See,
these are both kind of like ones we don't know as much about.
Cycling, I just know I'd end up getting so chafed. Like I would just be miserable from sitting on the seat all day. Like
it's also a solo versus a team game, so you could probably be better at a team game than a solo endeavor. I would lean field hockey.
I'm gonna go field hockey because I think about obviously it's different than hockey, like ice hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Like ice hockey, not on ice, seems considerably easier to me.
Yeah.
Like I think.
Possibly. Next we have lacrosse versus wrestling.
Like lacrosse is similar to the field hockey thing for me. It's like I don't know. Like it seems like it shouldn't be that hard. I'm sure that it is very hard, but like wrestling. I don't know. I've never wrestled before in my life. I intentionally avoided wrestling in high school because I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's difficult. It's like, do you think that it's more so like, what do you think your ceiling is on your strength
I
versus kind of your like
hand-eye
skill?
coordination. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not very strong. I think if we had Ryan here, we'd be able to move forward wrestling, but I
Correct.
can't. Well, I think
Well,
it's lacrosse. It's also the team aspect of it too, right? It's just like field hockey. It's like you
yeah,
have a
I would
team
agree.
around you in lacrosse. Stick me in the goal and just let me have the giant stick and just like be in the way kind of deal. Like we'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
100%. I would agree. But yeah, no, Ryan did wrestling for a little bit in late middle school, something like that. Something like that. So this next one's a little interesting in terms of the matchup because in order to fit the seeding, I had to group. So the Olympics calls it athletics. The problem with calling it athletics is that encapsulates track, that encapsulates hurdles, long jump, javelin, all that
It
stuff.
includes the field events too, right? Like shot put,
Yes.
javelin, all of
It's like
those.
crazy how much it includes. But the problem is I couldn't fit everything else if I didn't group it into athletics. But it's
Yeah.
going against darts, and darts is considerably easier than any of the athletics.
I'm not fast. I'm not that strong. Like, I can't jump. Like the athletics is not
exactly.
going to work for me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty bad at darts too. To be completely honest, I'm not a good darts player.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if I spend some
Gotta be
time,
easy.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely easier. 100%.
Next, we have golf versus fencing.
I mean, I would
With your
say
head
golf.
start on golf. Yeah. Let's just go golf because
I mean, fencing is very technical. Like it's
Yes.
very like it's a lot of quick movements. It's a lot of footwork kind of deal. Like I've heard fencing is very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Golf is pretty fucking hard though too. So
yeah. Let's go. We have weightlifting versus canoeing.
Canoeing
Is easier.
Because canoeing, like the whole thing is like I think you're like kind of like in a rapids type of deal, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I
So
think I could
so.
find my way down that. Like I think I could figure that out.
Mm-hmm. Let's go. Well, and also like the weightlifting you have to consider. It's again you have to kind of consider like the weight class and your maximum potential versus your people in your weight class other maximum potential. And I'm aware that I am not like at the level that those guys are. So, next we have softball/baseball versus surfing. Dude, I would suck at surfing. I can't balance on like water. I'm usually I have pretty decent balance, but water kills me. Like it's
I'm not sure I do very well even like stand up paddleboarding to be honest with you, let alone like
no, that's
surfing.
what I mean. Like I suck at that stuff. It's crazy. I hate
it. Goes back to the whole thing is like how many pitches would it take at 95 miles an hour for you to make contact and get a hittable contact somewhere?
Yeah,
it's a lot probably, but
100%. But I think it's still like because you can be in the field relatively easily if you have any sort of a kind of athletic ability.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like if they throw you in right field, you can catch a pop up. Hopefully,
I was gonna say throw me at first base. Like that's where you put your defensive liability in baseball. Like all you have to do is catch the ball. Like I used to play first base because I'm not a great fielder. So yeah, I think I could do that.
We have gymnastics versus soccer. I would be abysmal at both, abysmal at both of these.
But there's just no way I'm doing gymnastics. Like there's just simply no way. Like the same thing with diving. Yeah, go ahead.
I was like goalie. I'm actually okay at goalie, but everything else, I can't use my feet. I'm just not good.
Soccer, I was always good at being about in the right spot. Like I'm not very fast, but I was always where I was supposed to be playing soccer. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just can't do all those twists and turns in gymnastics. I just can't. There's no way.
Yeah. Next we have basketball versus trampoline.
What do they do in trampoline?
It's like it's like you jump. It's all the tricks and like flips and spins and all that stuff in midair. And then
I'm just saying basketball. Down. They throw us out in the corner on the 3-point line. I think we get one or two. I think we get one or two. Yeah, for real.
Skateboarding versus handball.
Handball. And I've always wanted to like actually play handball because it looks like so much. It's one of my favorite things to watch in the Summer Olympics. But not a lot of people watch because it's extremely entertaining.
Yeah. We have cricket versus martial arts.
Fuck, those would both be so hard. Like have you ever watched cricket? Like it looks
highlights.
Really
difficult.
Doesn't look easy. It looks really difficult.
I think if I really wanted to, I could be okay at martial arts just because I think I'm like smart enough and a lot of it is very kind of strategic based. Yeah. I'm not familiar enough with cricket.
I can see that. Yeah.
So where do you want to go here?
I'm okay with martial arts.
Okay, we'll move that on. The last one of the first round, badminton versus shooting.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say about badminton. I used to like it
Okay.
doesn't look that difficult. And then we were at a
Yeah.
birthday party probably like 2 months ago, and they had a badminton court set up. And bro, I was so fucking bad. I could not
Dude,
figure
the
out the
thing
distance.
drops. Like
Well, and also
it drops
like
so quick.
I've played like other paddle sports. Like I played a little bit of tennis. Like we've been playing some pickleball type of thing. The
Yeah.
the racket part being so detached from your hand, like it just didn't like compute. I was like trying to hit it like it was next to my hand, like I'm playing tennis.
Yeah.
I just like couldn't like figure it out.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty
it does,
long, isn't it?
yeah, it's like probably
Yeah.
like this far off your hand kind of deal. Like it's
Yeah,
weird.
that
It
is
doesn't
that
like
is
maybe
quick.
like if you spend more time doing it, you get used to it. But
Yeah.
it was more difficult than I thought.
I still think I'd be better at that than shooting. I don't know. Shooting's has a kind of a more random element to it, whereas like
Yeah.
badminton, if you repeat it enough, I feel like you could do
But
it.
badminton is a little bit like table tennis too, where like the good
Yeah.
badminton players that thing's moving fast. But I guess
No, you're right.
that I feel like it's all about learning like what it's the shuttlecock, right? I think that's what the thing is called. Like it's all about
I
learning
believe
how
so.
that's gonna drop and stuff because it just doesn't act like a normal ball. It
Yeah.
says the fins on the back.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm okay with badminton though. We could go with that.
Out. Second round, we have back to the top: archery versus boxing.
I feel like it's still archery. Like we kind of let shooting go down, but I think archery is still easier than boxing, especially like at that level of boxing. You have to be so fast at that level of boxing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all like it is a lot of it becomes down a lot of reaction time and a lot of just reading people.
Yeah, agreed. Next, we have sport climbing versus swimming. What is easier? Probably
They're both sport.
To compete at an Olympic level. What would be easier? We're just not big enough, like swimming wise.
Yeah,
We're just not physically don't.
I think we'd be better at climbing. But I feel like sport climbing, you also have to be tall because they probably have to reach some that are like far away, right? Like if I'm thinking about it, like they're probably all tall.
But you can be quicker because like your ligaments aren't as spread out. Like and so you can be quicker. I probably lean climbing just because from a physical standpoint, of like our frame.
Yeah, I could see
what
that.
I'd probably say. Rowing versus field hockey. I would say rowing.
I was also leaning rowing just because I'm much more familiar too. Like I think it'd be easier. You just have to
because you're also in close quarters with like teammates who can probably help you adjust more than.
Isn't rowing? I mean, obviously you're in great shape. Like it's a lot of it's timing, right? Like it's about getting the strokes all together and like everything like that. And, like you have to be very strong to do that as much as they do.
Of course,
like it's a lot about timing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next we have lacrosse versus darts. I would go darts. I think it's got to be easier.
I didn't even know darts was in the Olympics. This is news to me.
Next we have golf versus canoeing.
Probably canoeing over golf. Like we really like golf through. Like golf is a hard sport, and like you talked about luck. 100%. There's a lot of luck in golf.
But do we want to get rid of one of the canoe/rowing?
All right,
so should we throw this
golf
out?
Yeah.
Let's move golf through. Next we have softball/baseball versus soccer.
I would go baseball or softball over soccer.
I would
just based on personal experience of like playing the sports.
I just can't do soccer. Basketball versus handball.
Handball for sure. Handball is literally kind of like basketball for unathletic people, I think.
I'm also not super familiar with handball. I need to like figure this stuff out, handball out more. The ball is just so much smaller than like basketball.
It is.
Where it's like obviously that doesn't, if you're a basketball player, that doesn't really like matter. But I mean, for me, just because I played basketball forever, I obviously lean basketball. But if you seem to add him in the handball just because
I think handball would be easier. Yeah.
Okay, let's go handball. And then martial arts versus badminton. That's an interesting matchup. I think. I kind of. Oh man, I don't know. Actually, I was gonna say I'm leaning martial arts, but then I was like, dude, the guys that are so good at martial arts are like.
Ridiculous.
We're in our 20s. Like we have such a not head start. It's probably badminton.
Probably badminton. Yeah, I think it's badminton.
Probably. Okay. We have going back to the top here: archery versus sport climbing.
Yeah, I feel like it's still archery. Like,
you think so? Oh, I kind of think it's sport climbing.
I just think climbing would be so hard.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I just don't know what are like the regulation wall size whenever it's sport climbing.
Yeah, like how far apart can they
Regulation.
be?
Yeah, that's what I was. Regulation 101, 15 meter, 49 foot high. I would crap my pants. That's a long way. I wouldn't love doing that. All right, we're gonna go archery.
There you go.
Next we have rowing versus darts. It's still got to be
darts.
Oh no, hold on, because it's like what potential. This is another thing where darts is one of those things where it's very like it's repetition. How many times you've done it over and over. For getting that late head start, I actually might lean rowing because of the team aspect of people that are close to you.
Here's the thing about rowing in the team, though. If you're not pulling enough on your side, if you're not like getting your rows in, this side's going hard. You're gonna start turning. Like if you're not rowing hard enough, like you're not gonna stay straight. Like you can't really get made up for in rowing, like you can in some other team sports. Like it's very much like everyone has to be in unison. Otherwise, you're gonna end up in the bank of the river.
Yeah. My argument is that rowing is considerably, for the most part, as far as I'm aware, more repetitive than darts is. Even though you have that same motion, you have a different aiming points. Where in rowing, you're mostly doing the same motion and just it's like a timing thing.
But darts, like once you get good at throwing where you need to go, it is the same motion. You just have to aim, kind of deal.
I guess it's just like how long would it take? I guess darts is less physically intensive.
Yeah.
But I just don't know like precision wise how long it takes people to get good at darts. Like I just don't know.
I think a lot of it's like that natural talent of like just being good at that. Like I do think there's a skill part of darts that some people just have.
All right, we'll go darts there. We'll move that on. We have golf versus softball/baseball. This is also kind of difficult. I think they're very different things about each of them that make them hard.
Yeah, golf
because I'm never hitting a 95 mile an hour fastball. Like that's never happening.
Nope.
But oh man.
But golf, I mean, like it is just dependent on yourself. Like you're not worried about what someone else is doing to you. Like when you're playing baseball, like you have to worry about how good the pitcher is and how good the other team is. Like golf, like you just have to like bear down and focus on yourself. Nothing anyone else does matters really.
True.
Like it's all about what you do.
So you think golf is easier because of like baseball's randomness, random element?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. All right, we can go golf there. And then we have handball versus badminton. Probably. We might be sleeping on the difficulty of handball here, Rob.
We might
be. I just am not familiar enough with him, but you seem to be. I remember you being excited about it.
I love handball.
I need to watch it more this year. I don't think I've ever fully watched like an entire game, but that's definitely something that I'll have to check out after your. I kind of want to go badminton here.
I would be okay with that.
I think we're being a little disrespectful to handball, so I think we move badminton.
We'll give handball some respect. All right, are we on our final four? You want to read them off?
We are on our final four. We have archery, darts, golf, and badminton. That's kind of crazy that golf made it to the final four, but I know
that is
on earlier.
A lot of people like to hate on golf. People will agree with us because people think that golf is easy, but
yeah. We have archery versus darts. I gotta go darts because archery is you're going for the same spot every time. Like darts has to be easy. Oh wait, no. What?
Archery
reasoning was flipped.
Archery also you're much more focused on the bow shooting your thing like that. Like that motion should be the same every time. Versus when you're throwing darts, your throwing motion is not going to be the same every time.
Yeah,
it's my thought.
So you think archery is easier?
I do.
It's basically
the same sport as darts, just you use a hand versus a bow if you think about it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. That was hard. I really don't know where I'm leaning on that one. Archery and darts, because like you said, it's kind of the same thing, with just different items. Let's come back to that. Let me think on that one. Right. We have golf and badminton. I think we have to move badminton.
I don't think we can let golf go any further. Golf got an easy ride to the semifinals.
Yeah, I would agree. You think it's archery, but there's more of a physical conditioning with archery than there is darts.
Darts, that's true. Like you could go get some guy to the pub in England. He's probably going to be a pretty good darts player if he plays every day.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm okay with darts.
So you think Darts. We moved on darts.
Here's
All
how I put this too. I think whoever wins this matchup wins against badminton.
I would agree with that.
This is the true finals here.
Yeah, archery and darts. And it's like
Yeah.
the same, like you said, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
We'll move darts through.
Right.
And then we have darts and badminton as our final. I think we're gonna go darts here.
Yeah.
Darts is the winner of the sports that we think that we could participate in and have the most success. Again, we would have no success in
none
any
of these sports we would have success.
Like not even at a local level, much less an Olympic level.
You're gonna put out a clip of this somewhere potentially, and people are going in the comments to just shit on us for being like unathletic white guys talking about making the Olympics and not listen to the full episode. And here our disclaimer that we could never make the Olympics in any sport. All right, let's get that very clear.
Robbie, that's called the internet, and
that's a good point.
I would be happy to introduce you to them.
Well, everything they say is true, so I know.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This is what I know.
Yeah.
But.
All right. Well, that was our episode. I think that was a very, very solid episode, Rob. We had a lot of really good stuff there. Ryan will hopefully be back next week. He should be back. We'll let him out of his cage.
I guess, does that mean Ryan and I need to do one without you next week? Like, do we just need to rotate through who's out like over 3 weeks to like even it out?
Who's going to edit it and all
Yeah,
that?
no, like, you'll be there. Thank you for being there, Connor.
yeah, of course. So Robbie, why don't you go ahead and sign us out?
Yeah, for myself and Connor, thank you for listening. We hope that you like, subscribe, interact with us on social media. Tell us how about all of our takes are, every single one. Have a great week, and please gamble responsibly.
Bye.